You want Snoop Dogg? I have done him before, Gin Juice in the past. Today, though, doing Who Am I, What's My Name? Yeah, challenge accepted.
From the depths of the sea back to the block. So that's how it looks now. To keep up with the forecast, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. And pretty soon we'll step through the fog and we'll creep through the smog and we'll be able to see a little bit of sun popping out this afternoon. Forecast from the most accurate meteorologist. Guess what? He is I and I am him. We're going to be warm and humid with highs in the 80s. It's like that. And as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, we've got a front that's knocking on our door.
Few fake jiu-jitsu black belts, but occasionally there are some, and they get outed. And there's some hilarious videos online of guys getting busted.
Where does Steven Seagal fall in that line?
He is a legitimate Aikido black belt. In fact, he was an instructor, one of the very first Americans to teach at a dojo in Japan.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so Steven Seagal,
wow.
But the martial art is the questionable thing. It's the martial art of Aikido it's really a martial art that was created to disarm people with swords. The idea was that you lost your sword in combat and someone was coming at you with a sword. Last-ditch effort is you had to be able to use someone's momentum against them. You had to be able to use – some guy comes at you with a sword. You have to be very adept at catching their arm and flipping them over. Here's Seagal.
It's very subtle, right?
Let's not use this because it's easy to poke fun at him when he's old. But let's go to that black and white one. See that black and white one down there? Go to that. If you go back, see that one right there, Steven Seagal? Go to that one. Now, there's some footage of him when he was young. Yeah, this is it. Go full screen. He's legit. He is very legit. And he was thin. It was a different thing. But the thing is, nobody comes at you like this.
Yeah.
And a fucking NCAA wrestler would shoot a double on him and take him down faster than you can possibly imagine. I mean, this does not work.
It's a dance.
Well, it works. It works if someone doesn't know what they're doing, or if you have a lot of physical attributes. Like Seagal's a huge guy. He's a very big guy, and he probably could pull that off on a lot of people who don't know how to fight.
Yeah.
Now here.
It's miles from civilization, but just one subway stop from Manhattan.
Hey, you want a party?
Brooklyn. They were friends.
Ever since we was little.
Born on these streets.
One of us, family.
Now, after 15 years,
Who would have ever thought that I would have become a cop, huh?
they will play cops and robbers one more time. But this time,
Richie got out of the car and just stepped up, bang.
it's no game.
3 of his crew were with him.
Steven Seagal,
I know this guy better than anybody else. I know the neighborhood better than anybody else.
out for justice.
I'm gonna keep coming back until somebody remembers seeing Richie.
You know our ways. He must be dealt with by us.
Over here, Sal.
Get in the car!
I'll find this guy before you do. You know what I'm gonna do.
So you still call me here like a girl?
The body count's going up, Gino.
I'm starting to get in a bad mood, you know? Maybe it's like a mood swing, my hormones, I don't know.
In this neighborhood, someone's got to take out the garbage. Steven Seagal, out for justice.
Tomorrow brings a word and make you feel something so real, like you can speak your own mind and whisper your wildest dreams. Well, girl, it's alright by me.
lived in a foreign land. I had riches and gold, the envy of every man. But he somehow missed out on what I have
Live from the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network studios, It's Nothing Worthwhile presents Van Dammit, a podcast about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Here's Evan Moody and Andrew Gruthius.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with expert timing.
We are on the road to WrestleMania. Van Damme pivots from Jean-Claude Van Damme to one Steven Seagal. It's 1991. Out for Justice. Evan Moody live from Phoenix, Arizona. Andrew Gruthius live from Coconut Creek, Florida. Real quick, last night, Drew, Billy Joel, Stevie Nicks.
Really?
Live from, SoFi Stadium. First show, Inglewood, California. I don't have both sets in front of me. Stevie opened 14 songs. Billy Joel came out and duetted on Stop Dragging My Heart, which is the song that she was allegedly gifted by from Tom Petty. And Billy played, looks like his standard 25-song set, and inserted And So It Goes, in which Stevie Nicks came out and duetted on And So It Goes.
I would love to see that live, that song live. I don't think I ever have.
I think I did see it in Fort Lauderdale. I went to that infamous Fort Lauderdale opening, 2000, whatever.
Yeah, so, the ballsy show that you saw.
Yeah, exactly. Us hardcore Billy fans on muddywater.com, we reminisce about the on the wheninrome.com website, we reminisce about the one Fort Lauderdale show. 70,000 sellout.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Stop Dragging My Heart got a really nice response from the crowd. Billy came out in jeans.
Wow.
Svelte Billy Joel.
Looks like he dropped into jeans now.
Yeah, he looked like he dropped some of that. He lost a lot of weight, then gained a little bit. It looks like he dropped it back. I don't know. The end, So It Goes. I watched like a 15-second clip. It was both of them singing together. Like I would have rather had.
That's not a duet song.
Yeah. It's like it's a
weird
choice.
Simon
and Garfunkel. It was like Nick's Joel project.
That's a weird choice. Like if you're going to do a duet like that,
the Joel Nicks project.
You want a good duet song for the two of them? I just lost it.
She's like low register, you know what I mean? She's kind of like a husky.
Right, that's why it would be a good because he's got sort of a tenor voice.
What would it been?
I just forgot. Innocent Man. That's more. That's
really?
To me, yeah. I feel like that's more like a. It's got a groove. It's got like a.
I think she could do better on the rockier stuff, like a Glass House, like a Big Shot or something like that. You know what I mean? Because she's like a rockier.
Yeah, I'm thinking duet though. I'm thinking like duet. But either way, I'm not expecting either of them to show up at the Lords of 52nd Street show that I'm seeing tonight.
Now, for our listeners, we just go convoluted right down a path of. Please tell everybody, because I am interested. I know what this is all about. Tell everybody the show you're going to tonight and why its significance.
All right. So the Lords of 52nd Street are a band that is predominantly made up of the Billy Joel, I guess, rejects, or the ones that either
those are the original.
Right. I mean, they're ones that either left Billy Joel or were fired by him or both. And the remaining, members of the core band, Richie Kanata on saxophone, Russell Javers on bass?
No,
lead guitar or guitar. Or
I think he's
lead guitar.
I think he's lead guitar. Yeah.
So Russell Javers and Liberty DeVito on drums are the main three surviving members of that. But yeah, Evan's doing the Liberty DeVito drum beat. Yeah, so they have this Billy Joel cover band that they go out and play all these songs, and you know what? They play the same kind of set list that Billy plays, with maybe 4 or 5 songs that you won't see Billy do. But what it looks like to, and I've never seen them before. I'm going tonight with my brother. And I look at the set lists and I'm like, okay, you know what? At the absolute minimum, we're going to sit there and know every word to every song, and probably watch them being played with a fervor that we haven't in a long time. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing, scenes from an Italian restaurant with some urgency. Like that's what it seems like these guys are doing. So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Very interested. I've heard about it for years. So have you. Neither of us have seen it, so I'm excited just to see and tell you about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I mean, because I don't know. I don't disagree with that. I don't know if fervor is the right word, because that would sound almost like a discredit to Billy's current band, and I think Billy's current band is very competent. But I think yes, the original guys, you're going to get, if not fervor, maybe a more authentic. And you're going to get that classic Billy show. They're going to play straight classic hits or classic album cuts, whatever 20, 25 songs you're going to get, and you're going to have a great time. And so I'm slightly jealous. I'm going tonight with Brian Swain to fake Bob Seger at Casino
Arizona. And you're going to love that. I actually saw a Bob Seger cover band by mistake, like 3 weeks ago. I went to Crazy Uncle Mike's in Boca, I think, and we didn't even know there was a band playing there. We went there for dinner, and there was a band that came on. We didn't know what they were. They just started playing. They literally were a Bob Seger cover band, and they were great. We went to see Bob Seger together, and literally every song you were like, oh my god, I can't. It's like he's one of those guys where it's like, wow, he did this one too. Like it's like a Bon Jovi. Like song after song after song is like, oh yeah, I know this one.
I am.
So you're going to love it.
No, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I can't keep up with Brian Swain's touring schedule. He went to Styx last night. Like they played some small theater.
I would love
I can't
to see
afford
Styx.
it. I understand, but at some point,
we some of us don't have time and money, but you and I do. We satisfy a lot of cravings. Let's put it that way.
Listen, we're going to WrestleMania in a couple weeks, so absolutely.
That's one show a tour. Sasquatch, is that what it is? He only goes to one show.
That's what he texted me. We'll see him.
I respect that. I respect that. Why would you go see the Joshua Tree tour 900 times like our buddy Dan?
Oh, and then Dan, of course, goofed on. Larry posted, pictures from Bruce, and he said something like, "The guy is like a karaoke singer at this point." I went, "Come on!" And then he went, LOL. Just, I know you guys love Bruce or something like that. So,
Dan being.
Listen, they're doing some schmaz residency in Vegas now. So
yeah, but it's going to be great. That's where these guys are headed. That's where all these bands are headed. I mean, why not?
I understand, but I think for the hardcore fan, it's not great. I think it is a little bit of a, dare I say, sellout, and I'm fine with that. But you're gonna Vegas, glossy, hits laden. Yeah, I don't know. To me, would I go see, if I was a hardcore U2 fan, would I see the residency? That's one time I would go once and only once, just to see what it's all about, and then I'd probably move on.
It's kind of the same as Billy Joel. Billy Joel's got basically the 1 gig a month that he just literally has to helicopter in for.
I hear you, but at least it's the Garden. At least
true.
It's a little grimy, maybe a little bit.
All right, yeah, grimy. I agree. So why aren't they doing it in Dublin then?
You could.
That's what they should be doing, actually.
I mean, you could get a disease at the bathroom. I mean, something like that.
Yeah, what's a concert without leaving with some kind of keepsake?
Yeah,
and you can't afford $75 for a T-shirt, so you might as well get an STD or something.
Right. Well, or Moody ends up in the toilet with diarrhea on the opening song, and Bruce texting me going, "Oh my God, Bon Jovi's opening with Captain Crash. You're missing it. It's the only time since Cincinnati 2004." Yeah. All right. Anyway,
he's not lying. He's not lying.
Yeah. Evan Moody here, live from Phoenix, Arizona. Andrew Guthius live from Coconut Creek, Florida. On today's show, it is a Gru request. Steven Seagal is out for justice. We'll span the universe for the latest news on our favorite 80s action stars, and we'll let you know one thing we are watching this week. We've already brought him in, our Seagalologist, Andrew Guthius. Guru, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good. I'm not exactly a Seagalologist. I mean, there are some movies of his that I like. I'm very aware of his douchiness.
You're not aware of the running joke every time I call you in, and you're a nothing worthwhileologist, you're a resident Van Damme-ologist, whatever topic you are. We're adding ologist too.
Okay, I'm good.
You're an expert.
I'm good. I hope there's a pay bump that comes with that that title. Yes, I'm very good. It's a beautiful weekend here in Coconut Creek. All is well. Nothing really to report. We're on the verge of spring break. I'll be headed to Italia next week.
I like it. And you have the nerve to complain? Who
complains? Who complains?
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to
listen to him. I'm about to go on spring break. I'll be in Italy. Boy,
Well, if I said it like. Yeah, I'm so busy. I'm going to Italy. Then I got to come back and go to WrestleMania. It's just I got no time for me.
I'll be in Glendale, getting my car 75,000 mile service. Yeah, 70. Yeah, well, I'm getting the car tuned up for the big WrestleMania show, the big 75,000 tune-up.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Mohan and University Motors.
I'll be at the Vatican praying for it.
Okay, well, I'll be at University Motors with Mohan on Monday. Thank you.
Yes, get that red carpet ready for me, man.
Our spring break as well next week, so couldn't have come at a nicer time.
Yeah.
So weather really starting to change here out in Phoenix. Starting to get warm again. March. Grew good month, March, April, good month to come down for a visit.
Nice.
You'll get nice weather. So
looking
good.
forward to it.
Well, I hope you enjoy Italy and. All right, you want to before we go out for justice, you want to check out the latest news on our favorite 80s action stars?
I
Andrew?
would love to do that. Are you asking me if I'd like to span the universe, Evan?
Yes, it's time for Van Dammit. Spanning the universe.
Van Dammit. Spanning the universe.
Folks, Spanning the Universe is brought to you by One New You Life Center. Begin a new you. Check out all of their wonderful laser treatments at www.newulifecenters.com or give them a call at 602-274-0068. Tell them Moody Gru sent you and receive a big 15% off your first service. New You Life Center. Restore your youthfulness with confidence. Let's start that new you. Free consultation, customized services. Feel good in an stress-free environment. That's what it's all about. You want to feel good. And typically, I've felt good in a couple of places with Andrew in a very stressful environment. Like, you're waiting for the cops to barge in and go, you're like
the Weed Hotel in New Orleans.
Exactly. That's New You Life Center. Let's see here. All right. I'll throw some items at you. Not the greatest, but Sylvester Stallone, courtesy of GiantFreakinRobot.com. Actually, not a bad website. Thanks to the Rocky and Rambo franchises, Sylvester Stallone has become one of the most recognizable faces of 80s action movies. It only made sense that he would headline The Expendables, a fan favorite film that shows aging badass actors getting together to create the ultimate action movie. Gru, The Expendables have spawned 3 sequels, all of which have been on the HBO Max top 10 this past week. And let's see here. So basically the article is saying that on HBO Max streaming, all 3 Expendables are in the top 10. And let me see here. It's become one of the biggest The Expendables, the first one, became one of the biggest independent releases of all time, blowing competitions such as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The first Expendables film went on to earn a whopping $274.5 million worldwide, showing that the public still has an appetite for these kind of throwback action movies. Sylvester Stallone is currently hard at work at a fourth Expendables movie, where some of the surviving crew are joined by new actors, including 50 Cent and Megan Fox. The Expendables 4 is currently set to premiere September 22nd, which means there's no time like the present to binge watch the first 3 films on HBO Max. I did cut a significant chunk out of the article for time, but basically Expendables pulling great numbers on streaming. Stallone and the Expendables franchise pulling very strong numbers.
That's surprising to me. It's surprising to me now, because the last Expendables is almost like 7 or 8 years old at this point. I don't really have any explanation for that. What little I know about Expendables 4 is that Sylvester Stallone is supposedly not the focus of it. I think it switches over to Jason Statham's character. I think Lee Christmas is his name, and it's a good look. The first Expendables is really good. I love the second Expendables as a novelty. I mean, it's just so much fun. The third Expendables took a dip. There's no, I don't even know why they should go back to the well. I don't think it's going to be a hit. I think those numbers are not indicative of anything really. Guys like Stallone at this point should be doing what he's doing basically and focus on streaming. Like that's where the old guard is really striking it big right now. So
I know the third Expendables, part of the criticism was a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
That's what I've read.
Yeah.
From your knowledge, did it pull in significantly less than the first two Expendable movies?
I think so. And it's a good point you make about like the PG-13. From my perspective,
it does make a big difference.
Does it?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
I'm saying it does in a bad way. I'm trying to understand why the studios keep doing it if it never seems to succeed. Give me one. It killed Die Hard. It killed the Expendables. It definitely did not help Coming to America. Why are they? Why do they keep going in that direction if it's not working? Give me an example of it. Being used successfully.
I really can't. I think that the tide has begun to turn back to a nice old-fashioned hard R and entertain fans over. Obviously, I think the movie companies are thinking access to more people, PG-13, and nobody follows it. That's the thing,
kids, and so I don't understand why they keep doing it. It's been that mentality's been going on for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I'm a big Aliens fan. They're not great movies, but the first Alien vs. Predator, which has, to me, a decent story, is a PG-13, and it just ruins. There's a chest burster, the cutaway. It's just it
ruins it in other ways too, because like the fourth Die Hard movie, all right, Live Free or Die Hard. I don't even know if it's a good movie. All I know is that it takes the character of John McClane and neuters him, because McClane is an R-rated character. He's a character who chain smokes, who every other word is fuck this, fuck you, yippee-ki-yay, whatever. And when you take that out, like literally when he says yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker at the end, it's like the motherfucker part is like almost like drowned out by the explosions. So you can't really hear it. And it's like blatant. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And I don't know if the movie was a hit. I just know I can't remember much about it other than it was like John McClane versus a computer. So if it's not memorable, then and none of these are. So, I'm hoping you're right that they're moving back to, what movies are supposed to be.
Yeah, like I just saw there's a Jennifer Lawrence movie. There's a trailer. I don't know the name of it, but it looks like a good old fashioned teen sex comedy, like hard R,
Good.
like titty. I'm happy for it. Yes. So actually, you just mentioned Bruce Willis. I'm going to pivot to the Bruce Willis item.
Okay.
And hear me out. I'm going to read the entire thing because it's very interesting. Emma Hemming Willis had a request of photographers this week when it comes to her husband, Bruce Willis. And we know in his recently announced dementia diagnosis. Following a recent run-in Bruce had with the paparazzi, Emma took to Instagram to share a video to raise awareness of what would be appropriate from these photographers going forward. In the video, Emma said, if you are someone that is looking after someone with dementia, you know how difficult and stressful it can be to get someone out into the world and just to navigate them safely, even just to get a cup of coffee. She brought up the video that was taken by paparazzi that has been circulating. I haven't seen this, of Bruce getting coffee with some friends, and noted that those friends did a stand-up job of protecting him. Then seemed to get emotional and stop filming. After a cut in the video, she continued with, in the spirit of raising awareness around dementia, it's clear that there's still a lot of education that needs to be put forth. So this is going out to the photographers and the video people that are trying to get those exclusives on my husband out and about. Just keep your space, she requested. I know this is your job, but maybe just keep your space. I'm going to share with you a short news clip on this.
Okay.
Sorry. I screwed up.
I see it. Well, I see.
I know, but I got to share the sound. I apologize.
There's me.
Yeah, hang on.
God, am I hideous?
Screen. Stop it. How dare you?
How dare you?
Okay, you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Leonard.
Let me play this. And I got more to say after this.
Okay, go ahead.
Willis's wife has made an emotional plea to the paparazzi. Emma Hemming Willis took to Instagram asking them to stop yelling at her husband in public.
So this one is going out to the photographers and the video people that are trying to get those exclusives of my husband out and about. Just keep your space. I know this is your job, but maybe just keep your space. For the video people, please don't be yelling at my husband, asking him how he's doing or whatever, the woo-hooing and the yippee-ki-yays. Just don't do it, okay?
Hemming Willis and Bruce Willis married back in 2009. They have 2 daughters. The emotional plea came weeks after the Willis family announced that the famed die-hard actor's condition has progressed into a form of dementia.
Okay, let me cue that back up. Hold on. Come on, this motherfucker. Come on.
Look at those doggies.
Yeah, they're wonderful. Okay, so I did that news clip. Now, let me just say this. Let me find out. Then the Emily Willis story got a bit more convoluted this Thursday when she appeared yet again in the paper as she tried to shut down the narrative that she's using her husband Bruce Willis' diagnosis for her own, quote, 5 minutes of fame. So now she did a second thing later in the week. Hemming, who has been married to the die-hard actor since 2009, has made it her mission to raise awareness for her husband's condition after recently revealing his battle with aphasia that has developed into frontotemporal dementia. Quote, I just saw something about me getting my 5 minutes, which is great, which means you're listening, the mom of 2 said in another Instagram video shared Wednesday. So I'm going to take my 5 minutes. I'm going to turn them into 10 because I'm always going to advocate for my husband. Watch this space because I didn't come to play. Hell yes, I am so proud of you, the actor's daughter, Scout Willis, commented. Again, last month, Willis's family revealed in a lengthy statement that his condition has worsened. We know all about that. Gru. Emily Hemming Willis just posting away on Bruce on Instagram this week. Thoughts? Because I have some.
Okay, the first one, the one that you shared, I actually sort of applaud that. She because it's very easy to come on and say, leave my husband alone, get away, you bastards. She's not saying that. She's saying, listen, He's suffering. You got a job to do. Just you can be there. Just please try to respect the situation. I think that's pretty classy. You don't see that. Usually you get the Alec Baldwin who just punches people. Okay. So evidently, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to go there. But anyway, so I, oh God, so I applaud that first thing. The second thing, of course, that's going to be in the back of everybody's mind when you have the wife come up and be the spokesperson for everybody, and especially the age of the internet and social media. So I can't say that wasn't in the back of my mind, looking at all the posts and seeing it. You're hearing from everybody except Bruce Willis for obvious reasons. But it seems to me she seems genuine, because I followed this. We have followed this from the beginning. She seems to be genuine. I feel like if she wasn't, she'd have been called out by someone like Demi Moore, who is Bruce's ex-wife. So like I feel like you and Scout Willis is not. I'm not doing this to correct you. I'm doing it to say what it is. Scout is actually Demi Moore and Bruce Willis's daughter. So for for her to like endorse.
Well, what did I say? But what did I say that would?
No. It's, I thought you might have mistakenly mistook Scout for.
No. I know Scout.
So the fact that his natural daughter that is endorsing the stepmother's whatever she's doing does lend some legitimacy to it. So I'm going to try not to be that cynical, mostly because honestly I don't know how to feel about this, because I want to hear something. I don't know. I'm selfish with it because like I really want to know how he's doing. Like why we grew up with this guy, and like I know it's private, I know it's this, but you know what? He's a guy who's like always been there, and
I love you, man. I do.
I'm a huge.
There's that emotionality.
Yes.
There's that emotionality I talked about.
I am a Bruce Willis. I've said this before. If you look at the amount of movies that I've seen, what star is represented more? Nobody more than Bruce Willis. He's the number one guy as far as numbers go. Okay. So this is a tough one, but you got my thoughts. Goodness. You got my thoughts about this. So now, what do you think? I know you disagree with me on something, so go ahead.
Well, I agree with the first part for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I agree, but I have a problem with you're asking for privacy, and then you're going on Instagram again, and you're saying, oh, I'm going to take my 10 minutes of fame, and I'm going to. I mean, at this point, this whole everyone with it's not necessarily victimization, but we know enough about dementia, all that, courageous and caretakers. If you're really about private, I have no problem, just like you. Hey, photographers, please give my sick husband or my sickly husband space. Please be respectful. No problem with that. But then to come out now and say, I'm going to take my 10 minutes of fame, I want to shine a light. I mean, all you're doing is you're going on Instagram.
Yeah,
she's a young gal. She's nice to look, and then of course, the Willis family, so to speak. It's again with Demi. I don't put a lot of stock into it because it's like, hey, we want to show we're hip, we're cool, we're all in it together. And by the way, not one problem with that. Not one problem with that. But listen, I have bigger things to worry about, but I do cast some aspersions on Emily Hemming Willis a second time going on Instagram and going, hell yeah, I'm going to take my 10. And Scout going, yeah, because, I mean, Scout's probably like a year younger than her. So,
very likely.
They probably go out. Yeah, they probably go to the club, every night.
All right, I'll give you that one. All right, you know what? Right. I will say that there is a level.
I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just giving you my take.
No. But there is a level of a little hypocrisy there. I agree. Like, if people are, what do you care about what people think? It's what people do that you need to worry about. So you worried about your husband, and if they're going to piss on you, better they piss on you than your sick husband. That's what she should have said. You want to come at me? Fine. Let's go. But leave him alone.
Is that really going to engender good thought to Bruce Willis? Like,
of course not. Of course not.
That's an Alec Baldwin. That's an Alec.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Come at me.
I was just trying to add some spice.
You want to hear about Arnold Schwarzenegger's standard appearance fee and retainer?
I'd like to take a guess at it.
Sure, go ahead. What is the minimum according to? Let me hold on. I got to see if I put the. No, I didn't put the website, but according to whatever I clipped off the internet, what is the minimum amount of money that Arnold Schwarzenegger needs to appear at an event? And there's one thing in his rider as well that these are no haggle. Got to have X number of dollars and this, and he'll appear if he wants to. What do you think it costs to get Arnie to an event?
I'm going to say $150,000 minimum. And, and the rider thing, I'm going to say it's got something to do with either cigars or his dogs.
Interesting. You are good with the money because from what I have, the minimum is $200,000 for an event. I guess maybe this isn't. I don't know if I worded it correctly, but he wants a private plane to travel to and from the event.
Yeah, he's earned it.
Let me just read you this.
So he won't be breaking color war for us, is what you're saying.
No, and I don't think he's not going to be at Jacob Gruthius's bar mitzvah in a couple of
I was trying to hire him to be the moil for my new nephew coming in a few weeks.
Well, he did have a statement. He did have another big statement about anti-Semitism this week. Like now, because of his dad, every week he's like Mr. Anti-Semitism. He was like, I'm going to, whatever. Like I'm going to break anti-Semitism to get it. We're going to move anti-Semitism to the chopper.
Look, there are some guys out there who can do and charge whatever they want, and to me, Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of them.
Listen to this. The article says when he played Mr. Freeze in the 1997 movie Batman and Robin, he was paid an astounding $1 million every day for 25 days.
That's not surprising at all. Back then,
excuse me.
No. You got to remember. You got to remember that Batman and Robin was part of that original four that started with Michael Keaton, and that kick-started like the superhero craze where they were raking in millions and millions of dollars. So to get Arnold Schwarzenegger to headline the fourth movie of that series, he also had top billing. He was the villain, but he also had top billing over.
It was terrible.
Oh, it was god awful, and it was the both of them were the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, but Batman and Robin especially.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but they thought that movie was going to break the bank because the other three had, and they figured Arnold Schwarzenegger would just add to that, and it just everything was wrong with that movie. Literally everything.
Do you know what I remember mostly about Batman and Robin 1997? That was a Joel Silver movie, correct? That was Joel Silver.
Are you confusing him with Joel Schumacher?
No, Joel Silver was the director, I believe.
No, Joel Schumacher was the director. Joel Silver might have been the producer. Joel Silver was like the Die Hard guy. He did Die Hard, and Joel Silver did Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and all those.
I'm pulling up right now.
Joel Schumacher did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Who directed Batman and Robin? Who directed Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher. Okay, so what I remember about that was the cod pieces on Batman and Robin were just lovely,
and the nipples on the bat suit. Yeah.
Yes.
And George Clooney. I mean, come on.
Very homoerotic.
Yeah.
Oh,
but the whole thing just
so yummy. I just want to spread them on a cracker and just eat them up.
But I am not surprised at the figure for a Schwarzenegger speaking fee or appearance fee. But you would think at that point in your life, with all the money that you've got, wouldn't it be kind of like a mitzvah to just like seriously, like to get Arnold Schwarzenegger to like speak at like a high school or something? You got to pay him really $200,000. Schools can't.
Well, that does. I'm not saying that's an absolute. I'm saying that's I mean, maybe he does. I don't know.
It seems obscene for anybody, but if anybody can command it, it should be Arnold. Absolutely.
Sure.
You don't agree?
Wouldn't be.
You don't agree?
I do. I mean, my thing is, I guess at that point, I'm an older guy. I got name recognition. You want me? It's going to cause me what's the word? It's the travel, everything like that. It's tough as you get older. It's maybe kind of an inconvenience. Hey, I'm going to price myself high, and if somebody on the market wants me, I'll do it. But you're gonna have to pay. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. I believe in capitalism. Yes,
and he's also the former governor of the biggest state in the country. So he's got credentials.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack Tremundo.
Jack Tremundo.
Road budget. Yeah,
those are some of the funniest. Those Carvey McLaughlin group things are absolutely hilarious.
Those are good. Gru, it wouldn't be a fun episode of Van Dammit without some wacky Steven Seagal news. Russian President Vladimir Putin has honored American actor Steven Seagal with a signed decree for the State Order of Friendship. The decree honors Seagal's great contribution to developing international cultural and humanitarian cooperation. Steven Seagal has quite a history with Russia and the president himself. He visits Russia regularly. He became a Russian citizen in 2016 and was personally given a passport by Vladimir Putin. Seagal has even done governmental work as the Russian Foreign Ministry's special representative to the United States and Japan. The actor has backed Russia's takeover of Crimea and has dramatically supported its invasion of Ukraine. The article goes over all of his movies, and then it does go on to say, boy, you could see with this author's opinion, the actor hasn't been in much since 2019. He was accused of sexual assault in 2017 by Lisa Guerrero, Jenny McCarthy, and Rachel Grant. They have all spoken out against the actor, to which he has denied all claims.
Good taste.
Gru, I bequeath to you our Order of Friendship. Sounds like a bad 80s WWF gimmick for a feud, the Order of Friendship. I don't know. Some light, fluffy news on Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I mean, look,
fluffy. It's like scrambled
Steven
eggs.
Seagal. The tragedy of Steven Seagal is that he could have been on the level of a Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and your biggest action. So he could have, if he wasn't such a whack job. If he wasn't, you really don't think so.
Doesn't have the chops, and I'm not saying Stallone and Schwarzenegger are Sidney Poitier, but no. Could he have had a more respectable career? I'll grant you that. But to the level of Arnold and Sly, two of the biggest movie stars, I don't say great actors, two of the biggest movie stars of all time. No, I disagree vehemently. That doesn't mean he couldn't have had. I'll say the same thing about Jean-Claude. Could Jean-Claude have had a better career? Yes. Is he ever going to be at the level? Do I think he could have achieved that level? No, I don't. Sorry.
Just don't have the talent? Is that what you're saying?
The
acting talent.
But Jean-Claude also has, Jean-Claude had a little bit, Arnold overcame it, the accent, but.
He made it his trademark.
That's for another, let's say, podcast, but no, I don't believe. I don't believe many of those guys could have gotten to that level. You're talking about a rarefied air.
Yeah, all right. I'll almost come to an agreement with you. I feel like if it wasn't for all this ridiculousness, he could have been much bigger than he was and much better than he was. All right, so I won't go to the level of the two of the biggest movie stars of all time, but as far as action, whatever, he could have been a true superstar, and it just never happened because, my opinion is, because of his ego, behavior, and his maniacal whatever. So I will agree with you on that, yeah. So yeah, this is, even to hear, like you say, like, oh, he's Putin and he's a Russian, like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? 3 years ago, you were solving murders in New Orleans on TV, and now you joining. I mean,
let me tell you something. That was a good show. I love that show.
Who's saying it wasn't? I'm just saying he's
I watched
just
that. I remember when I lived in Florida, watching that with my ex-wife, loving it, and that was good. Yeah, the Russian stuff, I could take it or leave it. Doesn't bother me as much as The personal stuff with you read a lot about his aberrant behavior.
Yeah.
That stuff kind of bothers me more.
Me too.
But I just love the order of friendship. Like I feel like you and I could have been like 88 WWF, and like I present you the order of friendship. Like I raise your hand and I just smash it over your head. And
well, we invented.
Next, we're on Saturday night's main event, and we're in a blood feud. Gru, speaking of the WWE, let me give you a quick hitter on the WWE. I had to add this in there. This Thursday, the internet was ablaze with the idea that the WWE could be an entity, if you will, to make sports bets on, a la the NBA or NFL. Vince McMahon has reportedly pitched a pair of states gambling regulators on a plan that to take bets on matches at WrestleMania and other major events. WWE's plan hinges on tapping an accounting firm, EY, to ensure that the scripted match outcomes remain a secret until the event has concluded. A setup that could assuage concerns from sport betting officials about leaks. I took this article from CNBC. The article reports, citing people familiar with discussions, WWE executives have reportedly compared their betting plans to wagers offered by some operators, including DraftKings and FanDuel. As with wrestling, the award show winners are selected well in advance of, like, let's say, the Oscars broadcast. However, a few states allow wagering on award shows. EY and other accounting firms are known for securing results for events such as the Academy Awards and the Emmys. The wrestling giant WWE is already in talks with officials in Colorado and Michigan regarding the plan. During the talks with regulators, WWE reps discussed the possibility of determining match results months ahead of time, with wrestlers and other employees only learning about the match outcomes right before the event, according to CNBC. The wrestling company's sports betting plans emerged as McMahon, the WWE's major owner, seeks a buyer. Vince McMahon is reportedly aiming for a sale price as high as $9 billion. Bloomberg has reported last month, $9 billion with the B for the WWE. Gru, I'll take the Usos on a parlay. Thoughts on sports entertainment? Thoughts on sports entertainment and perhaps betting?
There aren't many ideas that I've heard that are worse than this one. There's no way. There's no way for it to work. There is no way for it to work. You're talking about an industry that leaks to make money. You know,
listen. If I could just interject, Andy's completely true, but just listen to the emotion tripping.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
At the same
floor
time,
is yours.
Yeah. At the same look, there's literally, we know the way the wrestling business works. We know there could be 30 people who are in on one decision to a creative decision, and the idea to lock in creative decisions months ahead of time, where you have no idea what's going to happen as far in people's lives or whatever. To me, it's just a bad idea that if it happens, it's going to go bad real fast, because of course somebody's going to be leaking things, and there's going to be insider trading stuff. At the same time, it would be so much fun.
I agree.
Imagine us being able to throw like $5 or $10 on a WrestleMania and spreading it out like FanDuel, or DraftKings or whatever. It'd be great.
You don't think like WrestleCon, we would already get like a whole procedure that we love? You and I would be like at the MGM with scrumming together, let's say $200 between the two of us, and going, all right, let's do one.
Fucking lootly. Yes.
After WrestleCon, we're going to the sports site. We're going to put on a bet. We'll take the Usos and, over.
I can just picture you and I, me flying out to Arizona, and then us like driving to Vegas and going to watch a pay-per-view in the sports book while we have money on it with a whole bunch of other fans, like I've done, and I'm sure you've done. I hope, in the Vegas sports book. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I think it's a horrible idea that we would absolutely love. It's one of those,
Yeah, I won't touch the horrible idea. When I read this afterwards, I went, I should feel like Gru, but I don't. And Gru is absolutely right. The only thing that's leakier than like the WWE is like my faucet, but when they want to lock stuff in and make it a legitimate surprise, they still pull it off. They would have to change things for sure. And yes, I don't disagree with Andy what he's saying about locking in match results ahead of time, because people get hurt, people leave the company, things happen. And of course, we have seen plenty of documentaries where right before the bell, they rewrite the whole deal. With that being said, I don't think I have a problem with this. I really don't. I think if they would have to really change how things are done. They may have to have people write. I don't know if it's NDAs or whatever it is, but if I'm working for the WWE and I'm in on creative, I may have to sign something that guarantees again, and it's only signing something. They'll have to change the way they do things. It's only 2 states right now, and from what I read, it's still a tough go.
Wait, it's legal in 2 states right now to bet on WWE?
They're only talking to 2 states right now,
all right. Okay.
As maybe a test run. So,
what, Rhode Island and South Dakota?
No, I said it in the article. It's Colorado and Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Everything's legal in Colorado. You can
That's
smoke
true.
smoke some doobie and watch Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns and make a bet.
Yeah, if you could still breathe in the altitude.
It just goes it could be so fun too. You'll start getting wacky prop bets.
I agree.
How many spears will Roman Reigns?
How many near falls?
Yeah.
How many near falls? How many? Like I said, people like you and I would absolutely love it. It would add a layer of screaming and yelling to this thing, that you don't get outside of horse racing. So like I said, on one hand, I would love it. On the other hand, I just don't. I think it would be mostly a disaster. But we'll see where the road takes us. I just don't like the idea that this is this definitely has to be connected to the sale in some way. And I just don't like outer things having to you don't think the money issue would influence the way they book, the odds going to you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't influence how they book. It wouldn't change. They might not go what's best for the storyline, but they might go what's best for the odds makers or what. I don't know.
Well, listen,
there's just so much untouched territory.
We got a lot to cover, but let me to Andy's point. Sometimes they don't always do what's best for the storyline anyway. Sometimes they'll send the fans home happy, or they'll send the fans home angry for what they see as what's best for, let's say, overall business. If a guy like Triple H is still running the deal, no, I think that they're firmly committed to doing what they think is the best storylines and the best. Again, does it always deliver? No, but I don't think so. But listen, everything else, every other sports, they're legal betting, so why not? Why not?
You're right. It is a sport. It is. I love this sport. It is real to me, so let's bet on it. Yes.
Gru, action movie icon Dolph Lundgren has put his particular set of skills to good use for the trailer in The Best Man, released courtesy of Saban Films. Lundgren will team up with old school and Idiocracy star Luke Wilson when they find themselves at a wedding that is invaded by a group of armed terrorists. Let's take a look right now at the trailer for The Best Man. Can you see that on your screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, here we go.
Welcome. I hope y'all had a pleasant journey in. Thanks for coming. Great to see you, brother. You and your wedding party will have the entire resort to yourselves.
This weekend is about us.
Make no mistake, this is a weekend that you and your guests will never forget.
I have that mask.
No Wi-Fi, no cell service. No one gets out.
They're holding the guests hostage in the restaurant.
What do you want? You're a wealthy man, and we want to know, what are your daughter's lives worth to you? We help each other get through the hard times.
Where are you going?
Do my job. I'm gonna kill everyone in here, and then I'm gonna kill your daughter. tree line. You're gonna go get help. Let him go. He can kill me. Just let him go. So the fun begins. We're searching the rooms. 5 seconds in each room. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What are we going to do?
Take this.
Let's see here. The Best Man stars Brendan Fair, Nikki Whalen, Scott Taylor Compton, and Scott Martin alongside Dolph Lundgren and Luke Wilson. Best Man is scheduled to be released in select theaters on April 21st, 2023, and will be made available digitally on demand. Real quick, Dolph Lundgren will be starring in The Expendables 4, which reportedly will find the group dragged into a nuclear conflict between Russia and the United States.
Wow.
That's what they're claiming.
Original.
Lundgren is also due to return to the underwater world of Atlantis in the DC sequel Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, starring Jason Momoa. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is scheduled to be released on December 25th, 2023. Gru, thoughts on Lundgren, Luke Wilson, and the Best Man trailer?
I mean, it looks like kind of a generic action movie. However, it looks like a good generic action movie. I kind of like. It looks like it's beyond what like the direct to video or the direct to streaming things are looking like. Like it doesn't look bad. And I think we are. Are we not booked to cover that movie on the Dolph Pod? Right?
Well,
no, I'm serious. I'm being serious. Weren't we invited? Isn't that one of the movies that we were going to be?
We were invited on the Dolph Pod?
Yeah. Towards I think they're doing it like at the end of the summer.
Well, I'd love to. I'm still waiting for my invite for dropping a Bruce, the new Bruce.
Oh, the new one. What happened to Where There's a Willis, There's a Way?
I don't know. I think I know, but I don't want to comment.
Oh, okay,
on
all
this.
right, I got you.
All right.
But, it looks like a fun movie, and you know what? Dolph Lundgren has sort of created a second career for himself, showing that he does.
Yes,
have
but is
some
it
chops.
is it a good second career?
We'll find out.
I thought you were going to say like a
no. We'll find out because because this is basically his or it seems like, I don't know. Like I thought you and I agreed he had a good performance in Creed 2.
I did.
And we like him in the Expendables franchise. This will be a test. He'll be kind of out on his own now. You know, he's basically the marquee name on this. I would not put Luke Wilson, at least not anymore, up there. I think
he fell off the face of the earth.
Well, because he was never that. Like I was watching Old School the other night, and I know we're getting into Luke Wilson territory now. But
he's funny. He's good. He's
not.
Good
You know what? He underplays it, and it doesn't quite work. And I love the movie. The movie is absolutely hysterical, but he's just doesn't. He didn't make me laugh.
All right.
But in any case, this movie does look. It definitely looks interesting. Interesting plot. I'd be interested to see like who directed it and where it's coming from. I know Saban Films is not a joke. So I'm interested. It's got my interest, and the fact that if it's actually coming out in theaters, that tells you something. You know what I mean?
No, select theaters. It's gonna be like a B run. You know what I mean?
All right.
You know what I mean? Like there's even at the theaters here, like when we went to see Ant-Man, there was in theater number 74 all the way in the back through the annex.
Yeah.
It was like
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, right. So like when I first saw this, I thought kind of cheap, streamy. But actually, when I watched it with you, I was like, maybe on a Saturday. If I'm not doing anything on a Wednesday night, but I watch this on streaming. Sure.
If
absolutely.
I'm not doing anything on a Wednesday night, well, once I'm done with that first thing, then I can do this.
There you go. All right, let's get Out for Justice here. Out for Justice is a 1991 American neo-noir vigilante action thriller film directed by John Flynn and co-produced by and starring Steven Seagal as Gino Felino. Guru, wasn't Gino Foligno wasn't Gino Foligno the 1981 Mid-South television champion?
I think so. I think he beat Pedro Morales.
Gino Foligno. Gotta love the names. Today's Van Dammit podcast, Out for Justice, is brought to you by New You Life Center. Meet the New You team at www.newulifecenters.com. You can check out their photos, their biographies of the team. Marie, Dr. Cynthia, and Nurse Brittany, the New You website. You can follow New You Life Center and Emily Herring Willis on Instagram at New You Life and at MWill to take advantage of their specials and monthly giveaways. And Emily Willis could proselytize, and preach to us on frontotemporal aphasia. Check out all their medical weight loss programs or give them a call at 602-274-0068. Tell them that Moody Guru sent you. Receive a big 15% off your first service. New You Life Center, Phoenix Premier Med Spa for Botox, fillers, lasers, aesthetics, weight loss, and hormone optimization. Gru will be there live in a couple of weeks. A big fan, damn it. Thank you to New You Life Center. Gru, director John Flynn later claimed that the original title was The Price of Our Blood, quote, meaning mafia blood. That was the title that Steven and I wanted, but Warner Brothers said no. It had to be a 3-word title like the other Steven Seagal movies. Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death.
It's an interesting. It's an interesting thought because it's actually a quote from the movie.
Yes, right, and why? I don't know. Price of Our Blood. That sounds like a pretty fucking cool title. I don't know why.
I agree. I just Warner Bros. The title is part of the formula. All right, so they had a thing going that actually makes sense to me.
Is it kind of like A squared plus B squared equals
C
squared?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. Like they had a formula going. They got the Steven Seagal, they got the 3-word title. It's just another chapter in this book of nonsense that everybody is going to see. So I kind of get it. At the same time, the Price of Our Blood, that title actually connects to the movie. Out for Justice could be the title of pretty much any cop action movie.
Yeah.
So that's a little disappointing.
Hey, I'm John Flynn. Listen, we got our Seagal formula. Steven, you go over here. Blood is spilled. Jerry Orbach, you're in the background looking fucking clueless. Just stand over there with a half-lit cigarette.
Sing a song or something.
Yeah. So this could have been part of our fun facts, but the movie was originally much longer and included more plot and characters. The word is Steven Seagal cut some of William Forsythe's scenes because he felt that Forsythe was upstaging him. That's an opinion from the author that I took this clip, but why am I not surprised that this probably actually happened?
I absolutely agree with I absolutely believe that happened for 2 reasons. Number one, William Forsythe is a really, really good actor, and he's great in this movie, and he almost steals it. And Steven Seagal is not a great actor and has a massive ego. So I can absolutely see the character of Richie, William Forsythe, just swiping this movie from under Seagal. So I 100% buy that. In fact, I'd be surprised if that didn't happen.
Yeah. Can't add anything that my colleague just said. Warner Brothers brought in editor Michael Elliott to re-edit the original cut of the movie so it would be shorter and more profitable at the box office. Elliott did the same job on a few other Warner Brothers movies, including most notably Showdown in Little Tokyo in 1991. Some scenes for Out for Justice were deleted. Some others were cut for pacing. And 2 montage scenes with no dialogue. 2 montage scenes with no dialogue are in the movie. I definitely know one of the montage scenes. I remember watching it going, oh, we're going for the montage where the cops start to fight back and close in on the strip club. Yep. And they start arresting motherfuckers. I was like, oh, there's a montage. Listen to John Flynn's comments about
what?
Seagal and company. Okay. I really liked working with Bill Forsythe and Jerry Orbach and all those guys in the car who played the killers, but I didn't get along with Steven. He was always about an hour late for work and caused a lot of delays. We shot until October 31st, 1990, a day after my birthday, because of an IATSE strike, International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Warner Brothers told us we had to be on a plane by November 1st, so we shot for about a month in Brooklyn. The rest of Out for Justice was shot in and around South Los Angeles. We filmed those scenes on Lacey Street, listen to this, in a slummy area of old wooden buildings that could pass for Brooklyn. See, this is the kind of stuff that drives me bonkers because whether or not I feel it, I want authenticity. I really do want a big budget movie or a big Warner Brothers movie. If it's taking place in Brooklyn, I really want it shot in Brooklyn. I have no other reason beyond it. Like these things bother me.
Well, it said it was a lot was shot in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but after November 1st because of a strike.
Right.
But he's inferring that Seagal is not being cooperative. He's coming to the set late. Yeah. I don't know. Any thoughts? It's not like
it makes perfect sense. But here's, you know what? When you mentioned the first thing you said John Flynn. The only I'm not that familiar with his work other than he directed a movie called Lock Up with Stallone that we've talked about, which is another one which is one of my favorite unsung action movies ever, really. I just have to say it. That's the only thing I know about John Flynn other than he directed this movie as well. Now, what you said first about I liked working with Jerry Orbach and Bill Forsyth. He talks about those two guys as like they are old pros, and they absolutely are and were at the time. Okay, Orbach was a Broadway star since like the 60s. William Forsythe was a character actor all throughout the 80s, very respected. Steven Seagal was never not a star. So he was always, one day nobody knew who he was. The next day he was above the title and above the law. And he never had to work for it. He never had to go through the thing that makes you understand what it means to be not only a good actor, but a professional. So from day one, people were kissing his ass as if he was the next huge thing. And so I almost don't blame him for his narcissistic behavior to the point that most people do, based on what you said. So go ahead. Yeah.
So hearing your comments, is it really the movie companies and those handlers to blame?
Hell yeah!
Because he never, in a sense, to quote,
never paid his dues.
Paid his dues.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah,
okay. I don't hold them 100% culpable because you do. You have to blame Seagal. You have to blame Seagal.
You have to be a pro. You got to be
at a point in his career, he at this point in his career when he's making this movie, he's had I think 3 or 4 moderate to successful hits, and he should know by this time what it means to do this and the difference between professional behavior and non-professional behavior. But he clearly didn't, and that quote, basically there's no surprise there. But we can see why now. You'll
love this. You'll love this little ditty. While on the production set, Seagal possibly claimed that due to his Aikido training, he was, quote, immune to being choked unconscious.
I heard this story.
Judo Gene LaBelle, who was a pro wrestler and a stunt coordinator for the movie, heard about the claim and may have given Seagal the opportunity to prove it. He was supposedly placed his arms around Seagal's neck, and once Seagal said go, choked him into unconsciousness, urination, defecation.
Yep.
God, I would have loved to have been there to see Seagal shit his gi.
I don't think I would have enjoyed
refusing to comment for many years. LaBelle, just work with me. I'm trying to have banter here. LaBelle circumspectly referred to a story in 2012 when questioned on the matter in an interview. Some outlets chose to consider this a confirmation of the story, despite LaBelle refusing to directly comment. Real, you think the LaBelle lock did Stevie in?
I have heard that story. I didn't remember the guy's name, but I do know that the guy didn't really confirm or deny it. But that story has been like an urban legend for a long time. I absolutely believe that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen to Joe Rogan's comments about Aikido, Seagal's authenticity as a martial artist, but questioning that particular of martial arts. And if you listen to Joe Rogan's comments, he said Division One wrestler could shoot on Seagal and have him on the ground within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's look at the cast for Out for Justice. Steven Seagal is Gino Felino. Jerry Orbach is Ronnie Donziger. Shireen Mitchell as Lori Lupo. Gina Gershon, as the luscious Patty Madano. William Forsythe as Richie Madano. Joe Ciampa as Vicky Felino. Sal Richards as Frankie. Joe Acavone as Bobby Arms. I do like Bobby Arms. He was good. Because I think Bobby was the one guy that kind of, and Richie's crew, that had like a smidgen of, what's the word, like conscious? Like he was like, well, why'd you shoot the guy in the wheelchair?
Yeah,
you know?
he's like...
So real quick, I watched the scene and I go, wait a second. Is Richie have like a little bit of a redeeming quality? Like, he's being really nice to this guy in a wheelchair. Then he's like, you fucking ratted me out. Just shoots the guy in cold blood. I'm like, oh, no.
I was just going to say, if there's a villain that has no chance at any kind of redemption, it's Richie Madonna.
No, he sure doesn't. Sure doesn't. Grill, you've briefly mentioned it. William Forsythe, Jerry Orbach, Gina Gershon, I believe a introductory Juliana Margulies. Sounds like the latest cast of Law and Order. Typical. I mean, obviously, it looks like they're doing the typical action star playbook. But any other thoughts about the cast for Out for Justice?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like this is a step. Let's see. We're going above the law, marked for death, hard to kill. All right, this is a step up in that they are surrounding him, much like Van Damme. They're surrounding him with real quality character actors. Very familiar faces, like the few that I've mentioned, the few that you've mentioned, more so than I think have appeared in the previous movies. And don't forget, after this one, I think came Under Siege, where he was going face to face with Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey. So it's like they're headed in that direction, making sure he's got that kind of support around him. And this is definitely, and even the Mafia guys. Not only Frankie or Sal, but what was Don Vittorio. He was in Goodfellas. He was I've seen that guy all over the place in a lot of mob movies. So yeah, I think they are stepping up with the casting here to make sure it's got some authenticity, and it really does, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what Steven Seagal filmography. Hang on one second. Can I look this up real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you looking for? Maybe I can help.
I want to see what was. I'm not sure. Under Siege is next from Out for Justice. I feel like there might be a movie in there in between.
There might be. If anything, it's on Deadly Ground, but I think that was after Under Siege.
No. Yeah. So, hold on. No, because it's not in order. Because it has Out for Justice. I think they're ranking it. Because Marked for Death came before. You're right. I think you're right. Under Siege.
Yeah, it went above the law. Marked for Death. Hard to kill.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know the entire Seagal filmography. By the way, my favorite line in the movie.
What?
Gina Gershon. I could still get it wet.
Yeah.
What a classy broad. I miss movies like that and lines like that. I miss
the way she says it too. It's like I could still get it wet.
Yeah.
She was hot then. She's hot now.
Yeah, still good looking woman. Out for Justice runtime is a trim 91 minutes. Very trim, 91 minutes.
It should be a movie like this. A movie like this should be. It's like Wham Bam.
It almost feels like the movie is in a sense shot in real time. I know it's not, but it's like murder. We go right into he gets the car. Hey, give me a rifle and an unmarked. Let me do what I need to do, and you go right into the chase.
Yeah, they established that the villain is this crack addicted psychopath over the opening credits. So we know what the whole thing's going to be about, and that's kind of what draws me to it. Is that it's just an unapologetically violent, start to finish, good cops and robbers kind of thing. And you're not being asked to do much thinking. You're just being asked to like sort of strap in and enjoy the ride. So yeah, it should not be. This is not the kind of like Marvel action spectacle that needs to be 3.5 hours to like get that subtext in there. That
Right. So this is not Steven Seagal Endgame.
No, it is not. It is definitely not Steven Seagal Endgame. It might be Steven Seagal, like what are those things they put on Disney Plus, like the shorts? I forgot what they're called.
Yeah.
The one shots. Yeah, Steven Seagal one shot.
I've seen those too. Out for Justice is rated R. Sex,
Very R.
violence, and gore. Yeah, profanity, alcohol, drugs, and smoking. I'm not even going to read the plot synopsis. We know the plot of Out for Justice. You want to do some fun facts?
I would love to do some fun facts, Evan.
All right, Gru. Let's do some fun Out for Justice fun facts.
Nothing Worthwhile presents Fun Facts.
Fun, I tell you. Gru, according to William Forsythe, Steven Seagal told Forsythe, "You really need to work on your Brooklyn accent." Forsythe, an actual Brooklyn native, replied, "Trust me, you do."
You really? Well, all right, keep going.
Gino fights a character called Styx in the bar, played by veteran martial artist Dan Inosanto. He was one of Bruce Lee's best friends and one of the 3 people Bruce let train others in Jeet Kune Do. He's also a master stick fighter, I remember that scene, and has studied multiple disciplines like Eskrima and Salat, and was the person who taught Bruce Lee to use nunchucks.
I could see that. That was a very well choreographed scene, to say the least.
I know, but on reflection, it kind of feels a little bit like out of place. Like you're in a grimy bar and you're just smashing people over. Like,
are you trying to make
tables.
sense out of these things at this point?
Well, if you're going to sell me on ridiculousness in a way, yeah, I like it to be presented sensibly. If that makes sense.
But that didn't bother me at all.
It's my Armageddon rule.
It didn't bother me at all because in a scene like that, you need a whole bunch of different types of
disciplines.
You really do. Like with the one guy he does with the pool, the pool ball and the sock. Okay, then he's got the guy with the telephone booth. Like you got to have different things going on. So I see the sense of that. Yeah.
Well, one of the deleted scenes, he pulled out a bow and arrow, and actually
that would have been awesome. I would have loved it.
Steven Seagal declared in an interview that the movie's bar brawl was his personal favorite among all fight scenes he's ever done.
I will concur with that. It's my favorite of his scenes that he's ever done. I love that. I absolutely love that bar scene.
Gru, the only Steven Seagal movie between 1988 and 1998 to not feature a single explosion. That's what they're claiming about Out for Justice.
Maybe. I don't remember any explosions in this. That makes sense.
Gru, Out for Dentistry during the filming of the showdown.
Wait, what?
Out for Dentistry.
Okay, go ahead.
During the filming of the showdown between Gino and Richie, Steven Seagal broke William Forsythe's front tooth when he shoved his face into a brick wall.
I remember that scene.
Well, maybe that's good, because William Forsythe was a little chunky in this,
he was.
This movie.
But it worked for the character.
Yes, it did. The hair, too, like that greasy, sweaty.
Yes,
like
just
he always
hanging
looks
over his
high.
eyes.
Yeah.
Just looks like a mess all the time.
Steven Seagal has often played Italian-American characters in his career, including his role in this film. He has said that he is often mistaken for being Italian-American. However, he is of Dutch, English, German, Russian, and Jewish ancestry.
Yes, I did know that. His real name is Steven Seagal. He was born in Massapequa. No, I don't know. That's not true. I have no idea.
You know what I have to say to that?
What?
Ain't Kello, hey nu, ain't Gavo gay.
All right.
Kamoshi. All right, anyway. Gino names the abandoned German Shepherd puppy Coraggio.
Coraggio. We're going to call him Coraggio.
This is Italian for courage or bravery.
Oh. See, I didn't know that until just now. Now I don't like the name anymore. It's like, I'm going to name my son Freedom and our daughter's Independence. It's like, shut the fuck
Steven
up.
Seagal was quoted difficult to work with during filming. At one point, he was driven to tears. He was driven to tears on the set when a light went out in his trailer. He attempted to blame the mishap on a teamster and have him fired, but was unsuccessful. See, this is what bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me too. That's but that's diva. He's a diva.
Be gracious.
I agree.
Don't be a bad. Don't
like
be a
I
bad
said,
guy.
Be
a good
nice guy. Don't be a good bad.
Nice guy.
You're quoting the movie. That's a good sign. Don't be a bad guy. Be a nice guy. It's in the song at the end. Do you remember the song?
Yes. Shape the. Oh God.
No, I know.
I remember kind of liking it.
No, it's "Don't Stand in My Way" by Greg Allman.
Oh, I was thinking about the hip hop. There was like a rap kind of. There was like a R&B kind of.
I'm talking about the end credits song. I don't know. The only other song I remember was "No Sleep Till Brooklyn" by Beastie Boys.
That was good. Juliana Margulies was cast specifically by Steven Seagal for her role in this film.
Not for her ass.
Well, she didn't enjoy working with Stevie. She later said in an interview that she used to see Seagal working on projects for Warner Brothers while she was a regular on ER, and he would always say, "Margulies, come over here and show me some respect." She bluntly said, "He's not someone I keep in contact with."
to put it mildly.
The original script, The Price of Our Blood, was written by novelist R. Lance Hill, but was completely rewritten by Steven Seagal, who felt that Hill's screenplay didn't reflect the reality of Brooklyn or took full advantage of the animosity and broken friendship between Gino and Richie. Is there anything legit on that statement? I don't know how I feel about that.
Half, because I'll tell you, my opinion is that it does a very good job of location, meaning that I feel the Brooklynish, the Brooklyn in the movie. I can tell which scenes were shot in Brooklyn and which weren't, and I appreciate the fact that they shot so much in Brooklyn. So there is a level of authenticity to it. The other part, I don't agree with him. What was the second part? What was the second part of that anecdote?
The screenplay didn't reflect the reality of Brooklyn or the broken friendship between Gino and Richie.
All right, so the screenplay, I think it does reflect Brooklyn. It doesn't reflect the friendship between Richie and Gino, and it doesn't the way it ended up being. So if it didn't before, it really doesn't now, and that is one thing that never even crossed my mind. Like, they keep alluding to it about they grew up together, but they are missing that connection. It doesn't really come across.
Yeah, no, listen, I know it's 1991. Brooklyn, the Brooklyn stuff, though, to me is so heavy-handed. Like, they're trying so hard with the accents. First of all, Seagal's accent changes from, like, the first half of the movie. Like, where's Richie? And what was hard for me to buy into was, a Brooklyn cop who's so interconnected in the neighborhood that he could just walk into a mobster's, the underground of an Italian restaurant and sit down with the capo, the head guy, and almost be disrespectful. Like, you got to get, and then he's.
But even worse. But
he's got his
worse.
arm around everybody. He knows the hookers' names. He knows the mobsters. I'm not saying cops don't. That's really community policing. I'm just not buying. He's like, telling the mob, like, you got 24 hours to take out Richie. I'm gonna do it myself. Yeah. Or like, I never liked you, Don Vittorio. That stuff was a hard buy for me.
I understand, and I completely get it. That's one of the things I actually love about the character. I really enjoy his connection with all that. That being said, you got to point out the ridiculousness of it in the very beginning, where how does a guy remember in the absolute beginning, before the title comes on, he's working undercover. how does a guy who knows everybody and everybody knows him work undercover? So already it's completely contrived. So coming from that, I put that aside for reasons that I'll get to when I give my review. But that stuff does not bother me. It actually endears it to me.
Yeah. Oh, come on!
I'm telling you how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel.
Lack of objectivity.
No, I'm saying. Wait a second. It's not a lack of objectivity. I'm pointing out that yes, it is ridiculous, but at the same time, for me, it works for the movie. That's for me.
I said objectivity.
Oh, objectivity.
I know, and it's just like I need a rifle and an unmarked.
Oh, shut up.
Just
give me an unmarked and a shotgun, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm getting too old for this shit, Gino.
Hey, you got to admit he's trying really hard.
Who's trying?
Seagal. Like with the performance, you got to give him that.
I'll give you my final thoughts.
Okay.
Though he speaks it in here, Steven Seagal is not fluent in Italian. He is fluent in Japanese.
It's close.
To date, this is the only Steven Seagal movie shot in New York. The part of Don Vittorio's heavyset bodyguard was played by professional wrestler Bialo the Giant, who died almost half a year before the movie was released. I don't know why.
I didn't know that. I know who he's talking about. I didn't know that guy was a wrestler. I think his name is Sal. In the movie. In the movie, I think his character's name is Sal.
I think you're right. Movie debut of future queen of erotic thrillers, Shannon Worry. She said in an interview that her character. She said in the interview that her character in the script was described as, quote, having a body you needed climbing gear for, i.e. mountainous. Even though other people had a hard time working with Steven Seagal, she said that they got along fine because she insulted him during the audition. According to her, she wore a tight orange halter tank top, a short, tight black skirt, and a little yellow ribbon around her neck. When Seagal walked in, he asked, "What the fuck is the ribbon for?" She replied, "I'm trying to draw your eyes upwards so when you say you're looking at my ribbon, you're really looking at my tits. Then I don't have to beat the shit out of you." She said from that moment they got along fine because he likes a person with a sense of humor. Oh boy, or like a regular Don Rickles.
That's who that was, Shannon Worry. I remember her. And don't you remember what he says about her in the movie? She's the waitress, I think, and he's talking to Gina Gershon, and he's like, "Who's that?" You're like, "Who?" He's like, "The one with the nipples you could dial a phone with." I'm like, I'm like, that's awesome. It's terrible, but it's awesome, and it's definitely worthy of worry. Yes, she's good. She had an adult film career, I believe.
I will.
We'll check that out.
I will neither confirm nor deny that claim. All right, that is movie fun facts for you, Gru. Let's move to the budget. You want to give a gander on the budget for Out for Justice?
Sure. This was 1991.
Yes, it is.
So this was around the time of Terminator 2, because that really broke the mold about showing studios that they needed to really spend some money, but. I'm going to say the budget for this movie was probably about 15 to 17 million. It doesn't look like an expensive movie to make. So I'm going to say around 15, but 15, 16, 17, around there.
All right. Well, Andrew, you are very, 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 very close. Most websites have Out for Justice with a budget of $14 million.
Wow. How much of that goes to Seagal? Probably half.
How much is it?
Probably half.
Yeah, at least to grease up that ponytail. Probably, it's probably $1 million right there in greasing formula.
Absolutely.
I have the box office numbers for Out for Justice. So I have just the domestic. I looked in a couple of different websites. They don't have international. So we're just going to go domestic box office, 1991 Out for Justice. Andrew, do you want to take a gander at the domestic box office gross for Out for Justice?
Yes, Out for Justice. I have to admit that at this point in my life, when I was watching movies, I was into these little fun facts. So I have a recollection of the box office for this movie because I was into the movie and I was interested in how much it made, and I remember it making around like $40 million. I remember specifically it topping out at like 40 mil. I'm probably right.
You are probably right. Thank you. There's our budget.
Is that it? Was exactly right. Yeah. I do remember.
30,
like I said,
39, 39,673, 151. Opening weekend took over 10 mil. Let me see here. Had about an average run per theater of 5.4 weeks.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
Was this the first time that you ever saw it?
No, I saw
for this.
No, not in the theater, but I saw this on some cables. No,
okay.
This was not the first time I saw the movie.
Okay.
Number 702 all time for rated R movies. Out for Justice.
That's like one of those like baseball facts. Like this guy, he's number one in hitting left-handed pitchers with more hair in their nose than it's like these little fun facts. Yeah, that makes sense. I remember that it was successful, but it was a step down from as far as money goes from the couple that came before, like Hard to Kill. I think was his biggest hit at that point. I think.
So you're saying box office wise?
Yeah, I don't think this was as successful as a couple of the other previous ones.
Okay. Gru, you want to hear what the critics have to say about Out for Justice?
Oh God, I probably killed it. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, breathe. Gru, Out for Justice scored 23% on the tomato meter based on 22 critical reviews. By comparison, Time Cop with Jean-Claude did 42%. Now, Rotten Tomatoes gave Out for Justice an audience score of 53%. So audience liked it a lot better based on over 10,000 audience member reviews. Time Cop only got a score of 36% for the audience. So there you go. So the audience seemed to, on a bigger scale, enjoy Out for Justice. Variety said of Out for Justice, quote, Out for Justice harbors an incredibly simple vengeance plot loaded with enough macho sadism to satiate the action genre's bloodthirsty fans. Charlotte O'Sullivan from Time Out said, if you cut the beatings, you wouldn't be left with much. Janet Maslin from the New York Times, as a courtesy to his many fans, the ponytailed action hero Steven Seagal not only attacks sleaze but also goes out of his way to examine it.
That's good.
Richard Harrington from the Washington Post. This is Old Jack City, a place where better actors and directors have taken us frequently in the last year. This particular trip seems unnecessary. And Kathleen Maher from the Austin Chronicle says, Seagal is a fascinating hero. He's not slick. He's not real handsome. He's a real strange dresser, and he doesn't seem all that nice a guy. Nevertheless, he's interesting and he's unpredictable. He gives me the creeps.
That's great.
Swipe left. Andrew Gruthius.
He gives me the creeps.
The proverbial greasy floor is yours on a scale of 0 to 4 ponytails. What do you give Steven Seagal and Out for Justice?
Okay, I'm going to start right away. I am giving Steven Seagal and Out for Justice 4 out of 4 greasy ponytails.
Oh, my God.
That's correct. Now, here is why.
He's trying to be shocking.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yes,
why do you think I requested to do this movie? Because it was, and probably always will be, one of my absolute favorite pure start to finish hardcore action movies I've ever seen.
Which is fine, but you're selling me on it's a 4-star movie. I can't buy that.
I didn't say it's a 4-star movie. I say for me, it's a 4-star. For me, it's a 4-star. I understand why people don't like it. In fact, that's kind of why. It's like the same thing with Over the Top. We did that because I want you to explain to me why it's so bad. And like, I know my friends, when I saw it in the theater, they didn't like it, but I'm like, this had me from start to finish. Just this guy's like the toughest bastard. If I ever had to go into a bar or something where I was scared, I'd want this guy with me. Like that bar scene, I love watching it. I love the rhythm that the movie has. There's so much about it that just has like, I love his relationship with the mob. It's completely contrived, absolutely contrived, but they're working so hard to sell it to you, and to me, that's what's missing in some of the Van Damme movies that we've been watching. It's like he's not even trying, and he can be so much better than he's been. Seagal really works very hard in this movie, and I absolutely love the movie. I love it for its flaws. Okay, for its flaws, its contrivances. Like you said, one of its major contrivances is the fact that he's so in with everybody. And you're right, it's completely contrived. It's a fucking cartoon, but that's one of the things I love about it. It's not trying to insult anybody's intelligence. It's saying this is ridiculous garbage, and it's going to smell beautiful and look great, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And to me, that's what it's always been. I have always, from day one, you could ask anybody, you could ask my brother. My brother knows. I have always loved on this movie way more than anybody else I've ever seen.
Well, hold on. You've said a lot. I'm not disputing your authenticity and your honest to goodness feeling about the movie. I'm just fascinated and exasperated that you're coming on here and saying 4 ponytails on Out for Justice.
Well, I mean, we rate movies based on how much we like them. If you ask me if it's a good piece of filmmaking, my answer would be no. But that's not what I'm looking for from a movie like this. You know, does it have a great script? No. Does it have great direction? No. Is it a fucking blast? Yes, to me. And that's why I love it. That's why I love it. Now, so if I had to give it 2 reviews based on, no,
don't do this.
Well, no,
stick to what you got. No, don't
I am
give me
sticking to what
reviews.
I got. It's based on what it does for me, and what it does for me. I've seen it probably 30 or 40 times. It's one of those movies I can quote from beginning to end. Literally, I can quote it from beginning to. It's just one of, I guess, call it my guiltiest of guilty pleasures. You can go that route if you want, and I'll accept that completely. I'll accept the responsibility.
So you're going to go on last week and trash Creed 3, and you're going to give Out for Justice a 4 ponytail
yes,
review.
And I'll tell you what. Can I tell you why?
No,
wait a minute. You brought it up. You brought it up.
You're just gonna anger me, but go ahead.
No, you brought it up because Creed 3 is trying to do something that Out for Justice doesn't try to do, and Creed 3 fails at it. That's the point. Okay, it doesn't. It tries to take the Rocky franchise in this new direction that's supposed to be artsy and artistic and all kinds of different things, and it just doesn't quite hit the mark. I didn't think it would. Now, that being said, I did not go into Creed 3 objectively. I'll admit that 1,000%. But coming out of it, I didn't hate it. I wanted to hate it, but I didn't hate it. I just said, this is not, these are not the choices I would have made. With Out for Justice, it gives me exactly what I want. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes. That's the difference. That's the difference. So I'm not saying that one is a better made movie, even though if you asked me which of these movies is a better piece of cinema, my answer would be Creed 3. It's a better made movie. It's better directed, it's better written, it's better put together, all of that. But as far as which movie do I love watching and enjoy the hell out of, it's Out for Justice by far.
Oh.
Now you go.
Folks, I don't even know what to say. I want to rip up my notes.
Why? What's the problem with that?
There is really no problem. There's no problem. I'm just.
Well, let me hear your.
I'm mentally exhausted. Well, you see, the thing was, I have so many notes. So let me say what I liked about the movie.
Well, do you want to give your ponytails first, like I did, or do you want to save that?
I'm gonna give you my good, my bad, and my final review.
Okay, all right, go for it.
Okay, what I liked about the movie, William Forsythe as Richie Medrano. There's not one redeemable quality. I mean, this guy is truly a movie villain. Love Gina Gershon as Patty Medrano. I mean, I could still get it wet. I mean, you can't think of a better opening line for a character than that. And I'm gonna give you you want an objective review? Sure. I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Go
okay,
for it.
Fans of Van Dammit, I'm gonna give you your podcasting god.
Yes,
who's just been hitting on everything lately, entertainment wise, and WWE.
I give it to you on that.
See, there is a kernel, an idea of a good movie here. Now, I've never read the original screenplay. Had the movie decided perhaps to go a little bit more on the serious route and give us a backstory on Gino and Richie, maybe showing them briefly as youth, and to really put the stakes in when one guy goes one way and one guy goes the other. So so I will admit there's an idea of a good movie here. What I didn't like about the movie, Jerry Orbach does nothing in this movie.
I'll give you that.
Absolutely
true.
Nothing.
Wasted.
Steven Seagal. Here's what I'll say about it. I do agree that there's some meaty dialogue here. It's not like Van Damme where he just looks like a puppy dog and says a quick one line. There's definitely a lot of dialogue here, and he does keep up in a sense with the other actors. His accent shifts. I don't know. I have a problem with he runs. He's almost like when he fights, almost like a feminine approach. I don't know. That's part of maybe my lack of objectivity. I did talk about. I had a problem with the Gino character. How he's so fully integrated into all aspects of. I never saw a cop so beloved and revered. Like the mob is like, oh hey Gino, come in. I just that was hard for me to buy. Now. Could he have had some people on the inside? Sure, but I mean, they made him like he's the freaking king of New York.
Well, can I add one thing? They did make it clear that he grew up with these guys.
Understood, but still, I mean, you're not going into Don Vittorio being like, "I never fucking liked you in the first place. I'm going to arrest your ass. You better." He's calling the shots here. I'm not buying that.
Okay, that's fair.
Some of the dialogue is, very, sort of generic and boilerplate. Give me an unmarked and a rifle, Don's and go. I thought the ending with, was it Bobby and Richie? Like that was a nice little plot swerve where but again, they don't really delve much into it.
Bobby messing around with
drugs.
Richie's girl.
Yeah. Like I thought that was a cool little plot swerve. So. As I take a breath.
But what about when he saves the dog? You love dogs.
Oh, I do love dogs, but even that was so like at the ending.
Oh, it was so great. Please God! Come on! I loved it. Please God, let me run into this guy someday. I love that. I love that.
Look at my notes. Beats up Artie Lang at the end of the movie because he tossed a dog. It's
That's
just
awesome.
And even like he leaves the dog in the car for it looks like hours upon time while he's solving like a puppy.
Poor Goddard.
I understand, but
he even knows the little kid selling the water.
Yeah, like that.
How's your mother? How's your mother?
Yeah, exactly.
But I love all this stuff.
Come on.
Yeah, I do.
Let me fuck you. He's driving, laughing like
you hear what she said. You hear what she said.
Yeah. He's so above it all. So here's the real review of Out for Justice.
Right, okay.
It is silly, but Seagal and company did just enough to keep my attention. So I'm going to grade this on the 1980s bad action R-rated Moody official scale. So I'm giving it 2.5 ponytails. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate Steven Seagal in this movie. Certain parts he kind of pulls it off, and other parts I'm smirking because I'm like, he's a little bit out of his league. Perhaps some of my personal thoughts of Seagal shades my opinion of it. Again, I don't know Seagal's filmography. I know a lot of people feel this is his best work. If this is his best work, then I'm not going to comment on it. Then so be it. I watched the movie. It's a trim 91 minutes. I think there is a better, more well-developed movie. Like we talked about Nowhere to Run, where I felt the plot of Nowhere to Run right off the bat was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like an ex-con living on someone's land, and they're going to, somehow meet. I don't care if it's Redford and Meryl Streep. The plot doesn't make sense to me. Here, I think you could have had Brooklyn, two kids growing up, best friends. One goes to the dark side, one's a Jedi in a sense. And then, 20 years later, they meet for this fantastic, bloody conclusion. I think it could have been more well developed. But again, I think Seagal and company do enough, kept my attention. I ain't 4 stars, 4 ponies for me, but I'll give it 2.5 greasy ponies.
Well, 2.5 from you is good. That's good. So I'm glad that you somewhat enjoyed it because
I did somewhat enjoy it.
Because as you know, I mean this is just one of those mysteries. There are certain movies that I just absolutely love. I can give you a list of them that none have ever seen.
I understand, but I laughed to myself. Now, last podcast, and again, I always chide Andy because he's controlling the production here, and I listen. I don't think he does it, but let's say my mic is a little lower because I'm remote, so to speak. But he actually sits there and says, "No, I don't. If Stallone was in Creed 3, I'd feel the same way about it." And you hear me chuckling in the background.
Did I say Andy, that? Did I really say that?
Yes, you said. My opinion of Creed 3 wouldn't have changed if he would not have enhanced.
That's because there's a reason for that. It's because the movie as is, there's no real room for him in the plot. That's why. I said that after I saw the movie.
I still hear you, but I mean, I think if Stallone even was in it for 10 minutes on a blow-off scene, you maybe would have felt a little bit better about the movie.
No, I think I would have watched. I think I would have watched that scene and then walked out.
And I'm going to give you one.
Go ahead.
God darn it! I watched that gosh darn freaking vacation movie with Ed Helms and Christina Applegate again.
Yeah.
And God damn it, I had some freaking laughs and. It's not a good movie, but boy, there are some amazing laugh out.
There are some big laughs in that movie. It's just not. It's just to me, it's an incoherent mess. But the movie itself. But yeah, there are some very funny parts in that movie.
All right. Well, all right. 4 ponytails.
Yeah, I'm not apologizing. I apologize for nothing.
Didn't ask you to apologize.
I may have lost all credibility, but I love this movie.
All right, one question, because I want to wrap it up, but let me ask you one quick question.
Yeah.
Where, in your opinion, where does it start to go south for, was it On Deadly Ground is where it goes south for Stevie?
Yes, because I think after this he does Under Siege, and I think that's his biggest hit.
It's definitely for me his high water mark.
So then after that he's got now. No, I don't love Under Siege. I like it a lot, but after that movie he had some serious box office clout. So he's like, okay, I want to direct, and that's where it went south because he can't direct. A director, and this the little snob in me will say a director
stop saying this snob.
A director,
give me your take.
All right, a director must have the respect of his crew, and Seagal is obviously a guy who does not who does not earn respect for they'll have people yes men, they'll be yes sir, but behind their back they'll be like, this guy's fucking nuts. And good movies don't get made that way. It's a team effort, and Seagal is not a team player. And to be a director, you got to be a team player. So, and On Deadly Ground shows it. It's a horrible movie. We covered it. And it's horribly directed, horribly made. And yeah, after that, it just became, I think he had like 2 more movies that came out in the theater even. I think one was Under Siege 2, and one was, I think, the one with DMX, Exit Wounds, which was actually kind of fun. Glimmerman.
Glimmerman and Exit Wounds were in the theater because I think I saw both in the theater.
Yeah, I didn't like Glimmerman, and I kind of liked Exit Wounds, but Exit Wounds was like a half comedy, and that's what I liked about it. Like, Seagal was not.
Glimmerman is also a little on the comedic side.
Yeah, but it wasn't funny. But it wasn't funny.
Wayans.
But yeah, so this Under Siege is definitely the high water mark as far as his career goes. It's all isn't that amazing? He's still Steven Seagal today. Everybody knows who he is, and his peak was in 1993.
Okay, but it shows you if you've done one thing very well, you can ride that. I mean, listen, we opened up with Billy Joel. I mean, he hasn't put out anything new, in a kabillion years. But if you do one thing well, you have your one moment in the sun, people will follow you, and he's a fascinating guy.
True, but here's a guy who's treated the world like shit for 30 years, and yet he's still working and surviving. Like you would think
first of all, I take slight umbrage with that statement. I don't know if he's treated the world. He's had a lot of people that he's worked with that have talked not kindly about him.
He's got a horrible reputation.
But you've called out some of those people as having, their own, their own impetus for this. But
maybe.
Again, stuff with Russia, I don't really care about. The stuff where people talk about him and being unprofessional on sets and even harassment stuff, that stuff does get under my skin a little bit. But
the Saturday Night Live thing alone shows you, what kind of guy this is. But
all right, Andrew, speaking of TV, give us one thing you're watching this week, please.
One thing I'm watching this week, I'm watching on Hulu. I'm watching the TV sequel to the 1980 hit History of the World, Part 2.
Is it good?
This is a Mel Brooks produced. He's not in it. He narrates it. Is it good? I'm not done with it yet. Good? No. Funny? Yes. So it's like it's reminding me of like a Naked Gun type knockoff where you laugh, but you know that it's just not. It's like a
but Naked Gun was good.
But it's not. But there are 1,000 knockoffs of Naked Gun that aren't like the two sequels to the Naked Gun. And this is kind of like that. There are laughs. They sometimes more jokes fall flat than land, but I have to say that so far it's funny. It's not near the brilliance of the original, obviously, and I think the cast is too famous. It's almost like everybody's just a guest star, and it feels that way. Whereas in the first one, it wasn't. It didn't have that feel. It didn't have a feel like it was. Oh, there's this guy, there's that guy. It was people completely ingrained into their character. Here, I forgot the character Jack Black even plays, but it's like you're not watching the character, you're watching Jack Black. So it's not really well done on that level. But I have been laughing. Again, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. So I am going to finish it. But no, not great, but enjoyable.
I'm so confused.
Why? Why are you confused?
It's funny, but it's not funny. It's
it's number one. I'm not done with it yet, so got to watch the whole thing.
The whole point of the segment is you've seen something, you're recommending it for our listeners to go out and watch it.
I'm recommending History of the World Part 2. I think you will laugh. If you'd like to laugh a little bit, you will. You could do a lot worse than History of the World Part 2 on Hulu.
All right.
What about you? What are you watching?
Hey, Moody, what are you watching this
week? I just said that.
Thank you. Listen, as devoted listeners to our show, everyone knows my television viewing habits are pretty shallow these days. They're actually as shallow as a puddle in the middle of the Arizona desert. If it's not the WWE, it's MILF reality shows or softcore dating shows. The only thing I'm watching, and I mean really the only thing that I'm watching with any discernible quality these days, I am watching Season 3 of The Mandalorian on Disney+. It's the only television show that I've actually stuck with in Disney+. All the Marvel stuff I've bailed on. All the Star Wars stuff I've bailed on. For some reason, The Mandalorian, it seems really authentic. Again, I'm not a Star Wars head, but it's got complex characters, expands on the Star Wars mythos without actually insulting it. Pedro Pascal seems to be the man right now, at least on television anyway. Moni and Brandon, I'll see you Wednesday. I'm off for television night and movie night. We'll watch The Mandalorian. For me, I am watching season 3 of The Mandalorian.
And is it good? Are you enjoying season 3?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no qualifiers. Yes, it's really good. Now, I will give you two. Right before we went to the podcast, I was tooling around Hulu and I watched episode 1 of Jared and Subway, which is the documentary about Jared Fogelman from Subway.
I don't want to watch that.
All right. Well, anyway, interesting.
I'm all right. Fine. Is it interesting to watch?
Well, how the guy got caught is really just what an ego and what a slip. This guy had like a whole double life, and he made one critical mistake, and I'm glad he did, because he's really a monster, and he's portrayed as such. On the documentary,
stuff about like
all right,
rape and child. No, like just stuff about like rape and child molesting. It just like makes me so nauseous. But
all right,
those kinds of twist things interest me. Like I'm interested to see like what you're talking about.
True crime documentaries to be interesting. I don't know what that says about me, but anyway.
No, I remember we watched when I was at your house. We watched that great. I thought it was great. We watched the Ted Bundy documentary. I thought that was terrific. A misunderstood genius, I think, don't you?
Yes, clearly. Exactly. In 1 month's time, Gru will return back for a bonus episode of Van Dammit, and we're going to cross over. It's 2003, Freddy vs. Jason, directed by Ronnie Yu. It's the first time these two great horror icons clash and slash on the big screen. The slicer and the dicer, and this time, they're not any nicer. That's actually a promo from the movie. Gru 2003, Frederick versus Jason.
Looking forward to that. I have plenty to say about Freddy versus Jason.
Good.
Yeah, I do. It's a very divisive movie, which makes it perfect for the nothing worthwhile. It passes our what word am I looking for? Credibility test. It passes the nothing worthwhile credibility test.
What is that? Real quick, what is in your eyes, what is the nothing worthwhile credibility test?
We take the original film strip of the movie and we put it in a mix of blood and urine, and if it turns yellow, it goes in the garbage. If it turns blue, we do it on the next week's podcast.
Yeah, when you tell me a credibility test, I see like a tug-of-war line, and as long as it inches over very so slightly that point of demarcation, we call it credible.
Exactly. But that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
Speaking of credible, when Gru and I return back to the mothership, Nothing Worthwhile will be face to face. Billy Joel and Elton John? Hell no.
Hell no.
Moody and Gru will be live, broadcasting from New Life Center in the lovely Biltmore area of Phoenix, Arizona, and we will give it to you. Our WrestleMania 39 predictions, 2 glorious nights of sports entertainment, plus will he or won't he get a new you makeover? Of course, Gru, it's our highly anticipated WrestleMania preview show.
You're damn right, and I can't wait. Looking forward to everything about this upcoming. We're going to be doing more than one show. We're going to do like a pre and post, right?
Yeah, I'm doing just promoting our next Nothing Worthwhile.
Yeah, because I'm going to be out there for a week. We got to squeeze as much of this as we can.
We got to squeeze the citrus. Yes, we
squoze it. And definitely looking forward to everything and anything and everything you've got in store for the Nothing Worthwhile universe.
All right. Well, Gru, let's take us out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today on this little swerve off of Van Dammit into the world of Steven Seagal and Out for Justice. It's been my pleasure to discuss this Gru favorite with my partner Evan and with you, the Nothing Worthwhile universe. Don't forget, the next time you hear from us, we will be live face to face from New Life Center via my trip to Italy and Evan's trip to the bathroom. We will be in Phoenix, Arizona very soon. I guess it's like 3 weeks at this point, maybe less. But that's where we're going to be, and we hope you're there with us to celebrate all things Nothing Worthwhile. And until then, folks, 1, 2, 3.
No retreat! No!
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Oh, my.
Oops. No retreat!
No surrender?
Oh, shit.
Noxu Cal, everybody!
Later.
Here comes the big boss. Let's get it on.